Hey y'all, Officer Karen Law Dog reporting live to you. Just pulled out of the parking lot at the Superior Court of California, County of Kern, Mojave branch, where we had yet another status conference. Apparently the Cynthia Jane Frank's finger Zimmer's right hand, Ken Russell, who was originally prosecuting on behalf of the County of Kern against my son and I, decided he didn't want to get his hands dirty. More like he didn't want a loss. So he's graciously passed it on to another deputy district attorney who sources close to the investigation claim, because I mean, this is how quick we can vet shit. This is another prosecutor who doesn't waste his hand on his time on misdemeanors. So you have to ask yourself, and a public records request will help me figure this out. Dude, I think his last name's Adams. I'll get to the bottom of it and we'll have a follow-up, no worries. When's the last time you found yourself prosecuting misdemeanors? Those are cases generally reserved for the Ryan Thomas Fallgatters. You know, the fresh out of law school lawyers. Not the ones that have been around the block for a few. They like to save these cases for the newbies so they can get their fingers wet. And you know, a loss is no big deal to a newbie. But a loss to somebody like Ken Russell or John Quincy Adams. It's not really John Quincy Adams. I made that up. But yes, we have a new deputy district attorney prosecuting the case. What are your thoughts, folks? I mean, we're coming up on a year since this incident happened. Actually, my God, it's a year today, I think. Or a year yesterday. June 24th. I'm pretty sure. 2024 is when the law dog and her 100% service-connected disabled veteran son was wrongfully arrested. And I was the reporting party. I was the one calling in a frantic because Charles was missing. And right off the bat, what do you guess? I don't know anything about it. I don't know about a missing person. Which I'm sure evidence will prove that was a lie. And you know why? Because I had already gotten off the phone when I called 911 and it was transferred to, I want to say Tehachapi Police Department. Why? I don't know, because that wasn't their jurisdiction. But they took the report and they said there was some kind of MOPS. I don't know what it's called. But they said as soon as they initiated that, every law enforcement agency would know that Charles was missing. So how Senior Deputy Smith wanted to come in with an attitude, because that's what they do right off the bat, try to soften you up, try to make you feel like you're doing something wrong. No, dude, time is of the essence. I don't trust the sheriff's department. So far, y'all haven't given me a reason to. Every time we've called you for help, somehow that shit turns bad on us. That's why we don't call that often anymore. Unless there's a good reason to. Like about 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, when those off-road dirt bike riders were slithering right on private property at our house. Yeah. We're going to create a paper trail that we called. We tried to mitigate. Hey, Luther. You guys getting some bad heat wave back there? I can't imagine. Especially when most homes in our little town of Huntington and Mount Union, not too many people have AC. At least not in my day growing up. We didn't. We had one in the kitchen. My mother would never use it. There's a word for that, but I'm not going to say what that word is. Because somebody will say that I'm not being kind and caring. Or they'll claim that you're a racist. Even though it's a legit word with a legit meaning. Anyway, I'll be back up in Mojave on the 30th of July. Most likely for another status conference. I think that I'm just going to call it, because that's how good I am. Cynthia Jane Frank's finger Zimmer isn't done with her investigation yet. She's hell-bent on getting something on us. And so they're going to drag this shit out to the bitter end. And then I guess they'll pray that a jury will be incompetent enough to find me guilty. Don't bet on it. Because there was no resisting whatsoever. How do you know? How do you know I'm a law-abiding citizen? How do you know that I trust what law enforcement says until they give me a reason not to? Let's take, for example, the night that Charles was abducted from my house. They showed up. They said they had a valid search warrant. And in duress, in my compromised medical condition, I let him in. That was not a valid search warrant. It did not authorize a nighttime search. How does this prove what I'm saying? I'm a law-abiding citizen. I believe what law enforcement says until they give me a reason not to. Once again, that night, why would I think they would lie? They had a paper in their hand that I couldn't read through the door. I asked them to read to me what it said. It's a word game. They lied. But being the law-abiding, law enforcement respectful person that I am, I let him in. Under duress. Based on false information that was purported to me by who we trust and believe to be protectors and servers of justice. Doesn't seem to be the case in Killing County Kern when it has to do with the law dog and the lap dog. So anyway, that's all I needed to report today. Hi, Mary. We're getting ready for a heat wave out here on the West Coast ourselves, so make sure that your battery is good. Make sure you travel with water. Make sure your tires are good. Have a towing service if you can afford one. Make sure your cell phone's charged. Make sure you pull as far off to the side of the road as possible, because you get idiots that don't pay attention, and next thing you know, you think you're safe in your car and you're getting rear-ended, and if you don't have your seatbelt on, you're going to go through that windshield. That's what was on my mind that night we were broke down in the Mojave Desert after hitting that dog that somebody dumped out in the desert. It's terrible. Even though I was pulled off, I had that fear. So, fear always lasts longer than love. And it's a good thing, because I made good